It's rolling.
I got all the voters. I swear to God, I've been at it for a minute. Climbing to the top, and this music was my ticket. Found a way to grind, turn a passion to a business. No limit, I'ma get it, having millions as a witness. I'm addicted to winning, living up every single day. I'll be fighting and building up in a million different ways. I don't think I can stop, I think I need the chase. I love the race, and I'm running till I'm first place. Long nights, long flights, I'ma make it big. Big dreams, big sights since I was a kid. Doing things that I like, let the pieces fit. I like the pain, feel alive when I'm under it. I could change, adapt, do what I need to. All these obstacles, they look and see through. Don't let the anger out, just let it feed you. I'll see you at the top, just let me teach you. Yeah, I'ma be a high roller. Move forward in the battle like soldier. In the game like closer. I'll be at the top of the chain, straight owner. Yeah, I got a different motor. I don't need any help, I'm a loner. You'll be seeing my name on posters. You could call me POTUS, I got all the voters. They be like, really, you got a milli from doing something silly? I'm like, chilly, I've been killing for decades now, Billy. Well, maybe like several years, but who's counting really? I just know how to turn something silly into a milli. Got a lot to say, and a lot need to hear it. You don't quit today, we don't stop, no, we feel it to the top. Yeah, we change our whole world, yeah, we steer it. Getting lost in the things that make us so worth hearing on. I'm the first one to turn up, learn stuff, but mostly I'm just in the lab getting work done. Cause the bills on the first, they still worth some. I never forget being broke, man, it hurts, son. But not as bad as not having any purpose. I took stabs, this and that, and it's working. But I still grind every day for that thirst. It's a curse being first, yeah, still gotta get my work done. Yeah, I'ma be a high roller. Move forward in the battle like soldier. In the game like closer. I'll be at the top of the chain, straight on. Yeah, I got a different motor. I don't need any help, I'm a loner. You'll be seeing my name on posters. You could call me POTUS, I got all the voters. I swear to God, I've been at it for a minute. Climbing to the top, and this music was my ticket. Found a way to grind, turn a passion to a business. No limit, I'ma get it, having millions as a witness. I'm addicted to winning, living up every single day. I'll be fighting and building up in a million different ways. I don't think I can stop, I think I need the chase. I love the race, and I'm running till I'm first place. Long nights, long flights, I'ma make it big. Big dreams, big sights since I was a kid. Doing things that I like, let the pieces fit. I like the pain, feel alive when I'm under it. I could change, adapt, do what I need to. All these obstacles, they look and see through. Don't let the anger out, just let it feed you. I'll see you at the top, just let me teach you. Yeah, I'ma be a high roller. Move forward in the battle like soldier. In the game like closer. I'll be at the top of the chain, straight owner. Yeah, I got a different motor. I don't need any help, I'm a loner. You'll be seeing my name on posters. You could call me POTUS, I got all the voters. They be like, really, you got a milli from doing something silly? I'm like, chilly, I've been killing for decades now, Billy. Well, maybe like several years, but who's counting really? I just know how to turn something silly into a milli. Got a lot to say, and a lot need to hear it. You don't quit today, we don't stop, no, we feel it to the top. Yeah, we change our whole world, yeah, we steer it. Getting lost in the things that make us so worth hearing on. I'm the first one to turn up, learn stuff, but mostly I'm just in the lab getting work done. Cause the bills on the first, they still worth some. I never forget being broke, man, it hurts, son. But not as bad as not having any purpose. I took stabs, this and that, and it's working. But I still grind every day for that thirst. It's a curse being first, yeah, still gotta get my work done. Yeah, I'ma be a high roller. Move forward in the battle like soldier. In the game like closer. I'll be at the top of the chain, straight owner. Yeah, I got a different motor. I don't need any help, I'm a loner. You'll be seeing my name on posters. You could call me POTUS, I got all the voters.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to The President's Brain is Missing. No, sorry. It's Friday. It's John and Ben. It's Friday night. It's all in.
to my party, we're just getting started. A life is a dream or a nightmare scarring. Hand me a drink cause I think I'm going all in. Get me a shrink who can catch me when I'm falling. Cover up my scars, flip the handlebars, crashing in my car, wake up in a bar. I'll be a superstar, just on my avatar. This world is so bizarre, empty out the reservoir. Yeah, I'm taking 6 shots, yeah, straight to the face. And I wanna get lost, I'm sick of this place. Don't know how to stop when I'm feeling this way. So I'm taking 6 shots till I'm feeling okay. I think I'm going crazy, don't think I'll get home safe. So I'm taking 6 shots all straight to the face. I'm taking 6 shots, are you coming with me? I'm taking 6 shots, yeah, straight to the face. And I wanna get lost, I'm sick of this place. Don't know how to stop when I'm feeling this way. So I'm taking 6 shots till I'm feeling okay. I think I'm going crazy, don't think I'll get home safe. So I'm taking 6 shots all straight to the face. I'm taking 6 shots, are you coming with me? Sometimes you need to let loose, grab juice, get goose, tattoos, taboos, get screwed. Loosen up, buttercup, all those hate comments will never make you feel enough. We're all adequate graduates, hearts full of calluses, but we know calculus. Damn, ain't that fabulous? Can't wait to apply all those mathematicus. But we can't get a job that pays us enough. I'm about to pop off. Fuck you, you're lost. We all know that we never really want a boss. So I'ma do what I want to, something I can't undo. Yeah, I'ma do what I want to, something I can't undo. I'm taking 6 shots, yeah, straight to the face. And I wanna get lost, I'm sick of this place. Don't know how to stop when I'm feeling this way. So I'm taking 6 shots till I'm feeling okay. I think I'm going crazy, don't think I'll get home safe. So I'm taking 6 shots all straight to the face. I'm taking 6 shots, are you coming with me? I'm taking 6 shots, yeah, straight to the face. And I wanna get lost, I'm sick of this place. Don't know how to stop when I'm feeling this way. So I'm taking 6 shots till I'm feeling okay. I think I'm going crazy, don't think I'll get home safe. So I'm taking 6 shots all straight to the face. I'm taking 6 shots, are you coming with me?
Ah!
There you go.
Oh, well. Good evening, John.
Good evening, Ben. How are you?
Well, I was okay until I realised YouTube were giving me the feed once again in 144p. So I've just changed that up.
144p. That's awesome. Awesome.
That is awesome. That's awesome. Spencer says his eyes are bleeding. I would have nothing less than your eyes bleeding, Spencer. Now,
why are your eyes bleeding, Spencer?
I think it's the colours. I think we're colourful. But ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, just to reiterate from Wednesday night, when it comes to the chat, we will come to it at the end. But to guarantee that you get your chat comments read, please feel free to leave a super chat and we will come to it at the end for sure. But otherwise, we will come to the chat at the end. And if you are watching right now on Twitter, in about half an hour's time, John is going to kill your feed unceremoniously, and you'll have to come over and finish the show on YouTube at youtube.com/Chasing Dissent Official.
And always remember you can subscribe to us on kofi.com/Chasing Dissent, as indicated at the bottom of the screen. And if you put a message in there, it'll be read out by an automated voice, suitably AI-ish for you, which will, you can say anything you like. And I mean anything you like.
Yes, anything you like.
So
I mean, we would rather you didn't say anything too spicy, but you know, it's your money, it's your message.
Money, your...
Yeah. So, John, how are you?
I'm okay, Ben. I'm okay.
Good. What are you drinking?
I'm drinking the standard non-sponsored Old Speckled Hen. Now, if you wish to sponsor me, I'm free and open to offers.
Same.
Oh, you're back on the sugar? I thought you were coming off it.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You're just so bad. You are so
I don't know what
bad.
I don't know what he's talking about.
That's probably worse for sugar. Right. What are we going to talk about tonight? Then we're going to start with Joe. Since we started with Joe.
Look, do we start with Joe? Because I feel like we've tickled the balls, so to speak. We've given them a little tease. Maybe
you don't want them going blue.
Well, I'm just saying. With the pre-roll, we caress them gently. Do we? Yes. Well, actually, I just sent John a message during the intro. I sent you a message on Twitter because he's his head now. There's a video. I sent you a clip.
He's not fallen over again, has he?
He's not fallen over. He's hit his head.
Oh, in the helicopter. That was in the that was in the pre-roll.
Was it?
Yeah.
But that was after the fall. So that was after the fall.
But it was before the fall in the pre-roll. But it was in the pre-roll.
So yesterday, where was it? Okay, let's just finish the job. We've tickled the balls. We don't want to leave them hanging. So let's just finish the job. Yeah. Where was Joe then yesterday when he took his fall?
Yesterday he was. Where was he yesterday? Hold on, when he.
So
he was at the Air Force Academy, wasn't he?
He was on stage at the US Air Force Academy. He was doing the graduation.
Yeah, he was.
And
he turned around.
And he fell.
Well, he turned around. He turned round, walked into a sandbag, and fell over. Right. Now the thing is, come on. There was plenty of space. The sandbag was there to stop a sign falling over, I think. So and people are going, "Oh, it's the Secret Service's fault. There shouldn't have been a sandbag in his vicinity." He is a sandbag. Can you imagine being a Secret Service agent under Joe Biden's presidency? It's like, oh my God, I'm working in a care home. I become a carer. And then there'll be one of them, the junior guy, who will be the one that's got to wipe his ass.
Yeah.
I bet you'll get 3 o'clock in the morning. Is Jill here? She probably doesn't have such a deep voice, but is Jill here? Could someone come up? He's fallen in the bathroom. And you'll go in and there'll be shite everywhere.
I bet there's code words
like a dirty protest in an 8th block.
Okay, so my question is this, right?
But before I finish, here's the question. Poll for the troll poll.
Right, the troll
I'll
poll.
write a troll poll and you carry on. I'm cracking myself up now.
Oh dear, he's already started. Right, but at what point does just the concept of Joe Biden being president become elder abuse? At what point do we say we can't keep letting this man do these things? He needs to be in some kind of care facility, some kind of aged care facility. He's 85 years old. He clearly has some kind of dementia and has done since the campaign trail, I might add. Clearly. And at what point do we say this has to stop? Because the Democrats are currently saying we're going to run him for a second term. Really? Really? If he actually gets a second term, it means he won't stop until he's 90. If he makes it that far.
Do you think he's running the show?
No! He can't be. And I don't say that conspiratorially or anything like that. The man is he's demented. And I don't say that to be disparaging. I don't say it as an insult. I don't say it as anything like that. The man is demented. He has dementia. He is clearly not well.
Yeah.
He doesn't know where he is half the time. He doesn't know who he is half the time. And now he's falling over and hitting his head.
Well, he didn't fall over and hit his head. He hit his head on... He forgot to duck going out the helicopter.
He's falling over and he's hitting his head.
All right. It'd be funny if he forgot to duck and the rotor blades were low.
Well.
Oh, so I'm surprised. I was Vaughn in the chat. He'll come to the rescue.
Honestly, I'm not sure.
The troll poll's going. Have you seen the troll poll? It's pretty sad. You won't like it.
Says Jill Biden. Oh.
Well, you got to remember, she's nearly 20 years younger than him.
Oh. The same Jill Biden that, remember, Whoopi Goldberg called a terrific doctor. Remember that?
Yeah.
Whoopi. Couldn't Jill Biden be Surgeon General? She's a terrific doctor. Whoopi, she's not a doctor. She might have doctor in front of her name, but she's not a medical doctor.
Not a medical doctor. She's a proper doctor. She's a PhD.
But do you know what worries me about this sort of thing?
Go on. What worries you?
And this people like Whoopi Goldberg. She's not really an actress anymore.
No.
She's on The View.
Well, she kind of is, because I would contend that there's a bit of actor in everyone. I mean, even what we're doing right now, we're kind of acting.
Well, yeah, you try and... Well,
I mean, look at me.
You've
met me in real life. I'm a really quiet, retiring sort of guy.
He is. I'm not going to lie, he is, yeah. But
I'm so shy.
He is. But the point I'm making is this. She's on a show called The View in the United States, which is essentially Loose Women, except for it's far more political than Loose Women is. And a lot of people, especially women in America, look to these panelists on The View for their political opinions. And then Whoopi Goldberg doesn't even know that the First Lady isn't a medical doctor.
Yeah.
And yet people are looking to her for their honest, just political positions. It's a bit concerning to me.
Well, you see,
is.
That is the cult of celebrity, though, and it's kind of something we've got to be careful not to fall into. I nearly said that with a straight face.
Nearly.
Nearly. But you know what I mean? Because, I mean, we do take pains to say, make up your own mind. Don't believe anything we say. Do your own research, right? So we'll present you with our thoughts. We'll give you our opinions. We're never going to tell you what to think or what to do, because that's up to you. I'll tell you what I think, and you know, you'll listen because you have no choice. But by the same token, I'm more than happy to listen to what you've got to say if you want to respond in comments and things like that. Because I read them all. I do read them all, don't I, Ben? Because
He does.
I do. I read them all, and I usually like every one of them, unless you're a complete and utter strange person. But apart from that, yeah. So, don't believe anything people say. Do your own research, and there's no shame in doing your own research. You know, you have a functioning brain. You're at least as good as anyone else on the planet, unless you're not.
Unless you're not, yeah.
Because some people just don't get it, do they? It's like, I've had a few run in today with our dear friends on the left. It's like Julia Price. Who is Julia Price? She's a singer, apparently. Right? Does anyone know Julia Price? So anyway, nope. She comes out with a story from the big book of the big book of things that never happened, right? Mm-hmm. So she comes out with this whole story about, I was running during my lunchtime run, and some man shouted at me. I had headphones on, but even over my headphones, I could hear him shouting, "Hey, sexy lady! Hey, hey!" And I ignored them. And then he lashed out at me and said, "Oh, F you, you bitch. You know,
No, he didn't.
and I ripped my headphones off because that was my trigger word. I was going to give him a severe tongue lashing. But before I could, a young boy who was walking with his mother and baby sister in a stroller, James was his name, he said to him, "Hey, bad man, don't talk like that. She's not impressed with you being nasty." And I thought, how can people, one, how can they write this crap? Two, how can others believe it? And three, why? What are they trying to achieve? It's like a fairy tale that never happened
I know.
for the masses. It's like some kind of massive virtue signal.
And what they're trying to achieve is likes and retweets. That's what they're trying to achieve. Nothing more, nothing less. It's did this story happen? You know, that pie chart. Did this story happen? No, but in yellow.
Yeah.
It didn't happen. It's always story hour here, Shalini. I had to respond to the chat. It's always story hour here. Anyway, let me end this troll poll because 75%, a good 75% with 12 votes say, good God, no, they will not.
Okay, that's interesting.
Well, hell, there you go. There you go. It's a. But yeah, John. The only thing that this woman is trying to achieve with what she posted, what she tweeted, her little story, because you have to set the scene, you have to tell the story. More than 240 characters usually. Mm-hmm. It's like some retweets. Yeah. That's it.
I like replying to them because you get some fantastic traction from them. I mean, I've had like 400 likes from that one thing saying, another story from the big book of things that never happened. And you get 400 likes and you get 2 replies from semi-supporters saying, "Prove to me it never happened and I'll retract the story." Well, no, hold on a minute, doll. You made the claim.
You prove it did.
You've got to prove it did.
Prove it did bloody happen. Of course it didn't happen.
It's ridiculous.
But she got exactly what she had. She got what she aimed to achieve. Because that's what these people do. They write these outlandish stories for likes and retweets. There's no other reason to do it. It's an utter load of BS. It's not true. Perhaps someone... What actually happened is a man drove past her while she's running, blurting out Gangnam Style. Hey, sexy lady!
No. Apparently this guy was finishing up his lunch. He was in a suit. And was obviously on his lunch break from an office job. That was, that's just, come on. Hey, pretty lady. I mean, are we in Nairobi?
Hello there, pretty lady.
Me love you a long time.
I'll make you my wife.
She's not even that pretty, to be honest.
I agree. But still.
Yeah,
she got what she wanted.
Sorry?
She got what she wanted.
Yeah, well, she didn't get it from
me. But she got it. She didn't get it from you, perhaps, but she got it. She got the traction. She got the reach. Yeah. She got the retweets. She got the likes, and she got the I mean, in the responses.
Yeah, and I'll be honest, and I am blowing my own trumpet a little here, although I have never had a rib removed. But do you get the reference? No. Do you remember Ron Jeremy?
No. I do remember Ron Jeremy.
Had a couple of ribs removed so he could suck his own one.
Isn't Ron Jeremy now pretty much constantly being either sued or whatever for
I don't know,
assault and harassment?
How can you be sued for assault when someone's in a porno? I mean, it's not as if they're not coerced into it. They get paid for it, and the girls get paid a lot more than the guys. A lot more. That's the one job. That's the one job where men should be striking for equality.
Mr. Jungle, look, Mr. Jungle Griffin says in the chat, and I will go to the chat. He's in prison on remand and mentally unstable. I knew there was something going on with him.
Yeah, but what's he on prison for? It can't be.
It's for those. Yes.
It's not for making movies.
I believe it is. Let me just Google it.
I mean, that's just ridiculous because, I mean, the guy's ancient. He must be in his 80s by now, surely. And don't call me Shirley. Okay, it's Friday. I'll let you off with it.
Okay, no, he's kind of got out of it. Ron Jeremy found not competent to stand trial for multiple R charges. Yeah, multiple R charges from women that acted alongside him.
See, that's ridiculous. That's not fair because let's face it, these girls get paid handsomely for this, and they did. They made a lot of money out of this. These girls made a lot of money out of this because, as I said, that's the one industry where the guys should be striking for equal pay. So that's just not right. Anyway, apart from that, what was I talking about?
Well, things that never happened.
Yeah, but I'd moved on. I don't know. What was I talking about? Oh my god!
I can't.
See, this is shouldn't I shouldn't have went off on a tangent, should I?
I mean, it's the old speckled hen talking, John. It's
not the old speckled hen. It's the dementia coming in. I'm going to be Joe Biden soon. I mean, when people say to me and I forget something, I go, look, okay, I might have forgot that, but I'm no Joe Biden.
You're getting there. We're getting there.
No, what I was actually saying was, without blowing my own trumpet and no ribs removed, was that I've been quite acerbic and insightful on Twitter these days. I'm getting lots of nice likes and followers and things from my pithy and witty
barely
comments.
Use it.
Yeah, I've been hammering people, I must admit.
Well, to be fair, it's like we've done a complete and utter role reversal because I barely use it.
Yeah, no.
And now you go for it.
Go in with a 2-pound hammer. Boom, boom, boom. Done.
Yeah. If you're not on Twitter, you kind of okay. So I think this kind of moves us nicely into what I do want to talk about when it comes to Twitter, because I'm somewhat confused. Okay, now go with me on this. So last night, the Daily Wire, the Daily Wire released their documentary from last year by Matt Walsh, What is a Woman? They released it for free on Twitter. Okay, now take the contents of the documentary away. That's completely irrelevant.
Yeah, okay, I'm listening.
So they made a deal with Twitter to do this. They paid for some event stuff and stuff like that. And then Twitter came back to them at the last minute and turned around and said, we're going to label this hate speech. We're going to take away its reach. We're going to stop it from being able to trend and stuff like that. And it took the intervention of Elon Musk himself to stop this happening. Is Twitter still very compromised?
Hold on. Are you not up to speed?
Go on.
They've come back and said that Twitter are now labeling it as misgendering and they're not promoting it anymore.
No.
Yeah. They've done it. That was less than an hour ago.
Let me look.
Yeah. So they've reversed course again.
I'm just looking. I'm not seeing anything from the Daily Wire themselves.
It wasn't on the Daily Wire.
Jeremy.
It was Twitter.
No, it's fine. Look, here's a tweet 17 minutes ago from Jeremy Boring, who is the CEO of Daily Wire. He says, an insane 24 hours. Thanks to everyone who helped us stand up for free speech, and to Elon and Twitter for making it right. To celebrate, we're keeping What is a Woman on Twitter and free for the rest of the weekend.
When was that published?
So everyone can enjoy. 17 minutes ago.
Right, okay, so they've obviously reversed that again then. But the whole thing is ridiculous. And anyway, it was... I tried watching it and I couldn't.
I like it.
Yeah,
I like the documentary. I know
you're odd, but I mean... It was like,
I am odd.
oh my God, it's a bit labelled. I mean, I know I've got probably a longer attention span than many on this platform, right? But it just didn't hook me. There was no catch. I mean, it was like, oh, for God's sake, this is like it's like a Republican advert. That's what it was like. It's like an advert from Donald Trump.
But yeah, Elon quote tweeted it himself, and he said every parent should watch this to the documentary. Now, the thing is, I agree, and I agree that absolutely everybody, if you've got the stomach to watch 90 minutes of Matt Walsh interviewing some quite insane people.
See, they're right. The problem I have with these things is that they're targeting their side. You know what I mean? It's not a balanced report.
No, it's not.
None of these things ever are. And like the John Bull one wasn't a balanced report, you know?
But...
So you've got to put out a balanced report, I think. I would say... these things really annoy. I mean, it's like the BBC and the Andrew Tate interview. What was that like?
Oh my God.
That woman... First of all, has that woman never heard of makeup? What was she thinking? Was she going to dub in the cutaways later? Because it's like, for God's sake, I look better than she does.
So when it comes to that, so for those of you who don't know,
yes, I am a misogynist. Sorry,
but Andrew Tate has. What has he done? He's invited the BBC to his home in Romania so that he can give them the first interview since his release. And this woman, Lucy something or other, came to his home and sat down for this interview. And she just,
well, she had an agenda.
Went there. An agenda is an understatement. This woman was angry in the way she was questioning him. She was questioning him.
She was questioning him in the style of Jeremy Paxman, except not as good, not as measured, and nowhere near as accurate.
She just came off as angry the entire time.
She came off as a meme.
And it was very clear.
She came. See that?
Well, yeah, she did.
See that grey shouty meme? She came off as that person.
Yeah, but the thing is, he did very, very, very well in that interview. And you know my opinion on him. I think he's an asshole. Yeah. But you can go and watch this interview in full. But he did well.
He didn't do well. He did brilliantly.
Especially
when he said to her, "Look, you're in my home. You don't set the rules. I invited you here. This is my home. I set the rules."
And do you know what? I also watched, for context and for balance, the BBC's version of that interview that they put out. I've seen that.
And how was it?
And they still can't make him look bad.
No, they can't. I mean, the guy... if the guy's been in jail for the best part of, 3 months? 4 months?
Yeah.
And he's obviously had plenty of time to think. But he's not daft. I mean, if he has many things, but he's not really daft. And he's quite switched on, and he's quite good at coming back with answers and things like that. So it doesn't take him long. He doesn't look like he's struggling. As I would say, and I said earlier, he's no Joe Biden.
He's no Joe Biden. He seems to have his... Right, no matter what you think of him, and you know what I think of him, he does have his faculties.
He does have his faculties, and he's not dense. He's not dense. And he's got a point. He's got a point in many of the things he said in that interview. He had a valid point. Yeah, he had a valid point. I'm not going to say any more than that because I don't want to say too much because of the platforms we're on, and they don't like that kind of person. But he made valid points, and I think they were well made. Valid points.
I think they were. But the thing is this what journalism has come to? This is the real question. He asked that question. people who show up who clearly have not done any kind of research whatsoever, just to throw absolute angry accusations. And I mean, she was angry, man. She was angry.
Yeah.
It was embarrassing. It was embarrassing.
But do you not think that's entirely what happens now on, and for want of a better term, right? Because I don't like this thing about left and right, but for want of a better term, people that sit on the left, and I'm not even going to say far left, because I don't think these are valid terms anymore. People that sit on the left are generally angry little elves. They really are. What's the problem? You don't sit anywhere now. You sit on the fence. You're a Starmer.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, but people that sit on the left are angry little elves. They don't have a valid argument, and they resort to ad hominem attacks, and they can't be bothered doing proper research. I mean, even these people in Just Stop Oil and they don't pay stuff and all that, you know, they've no real valid arguments. They just have a cause that's been backed by some mysterious backer, you know, who's paying them money to go out and do this, because these people aren't self-funded. They are being funded.
No,
there's no doubt about
they are.
that, because you can't get people to go and do that all day, every day for nothing after a certain point. You know, after a certain point, especially when they start getting prosecuted and put in jail and fined and things like that. So somebody's got to be there to bail them out, and somebody's got to be there to put up the fines and things. So yeah, it's like the left it's deteriorated into an authoritarian, even tyrannical body. You know, it really has. It's just and don't mistake me as thinking the right's any better. Right?
No.
Because they're not any better. In fact, the right seem to have become the left, and the left seem to have become the right. I mean, am I wrong? Am I wrong?
Well, I will say that in the 90s, it was the right wing that would say video games are causing violence, and they need to be banned, and this needs to be censored, and that needs to be censored. Now it is the left that goes, these words are violence, and they need to be banned, and that needs to be censored, and that needs to be censored. Andrew says, would you invite Antifa round for tea? Probably. I would invite anyone round for tea. They'd probably trash my bloody house, but I'd invite them round.
Why would they?
Because that's what they do. Because I might say something that would be triggering for them, like reality matters.
I see. Speaking about idiots and reality not mattering, I see that clown Mizzy breached his bail conditions straight away, more or less.
Yeah, well, I know that he was, but is he back in custody then?
Well, I don't know, but he's breached his conditions. He streamed something on social media, and he's not allowed to do that.
No, because he's not allowed to include people in his streams without their consent.
Yeah.
Which I actually do not agree with.
No.
Okay? Because, you know, you should be able to film anything in public. You should be able to film anything in public. And
you can't
putting
if it's
those
in public, right? If it's in public, you've effectively consented to being seen, right?
Well, not in Mizzy's case anymore.
Yeah, but that's as you said, that's not fair. That's not right.
It's not fair, and I don't feel like defending the little twerp.
Yeah,
but at the end of the day,
you know what? There are sufficient. See, this is the problem. This is the problem with modern society, right? They're going to make rules to stop Mizzy doing what he does when they don't need to. There are sufficient laws in place to stop him doing what he's done, right? You don't need to go and put restrictions on him about broadcasting on social media, because he's already made himself a public nuisance. He's created a breach of the peace. He's put people in danger, and he's stolen things. These are all regular crimes. So there's no need to do anything else.
Well, no, there is a need to do anything else if it's not about him. Now, hear me out here. Someone like him comes along, and it's quite convenient to use this extreme outlier, and that's what he is. Make no mistake. This is not the normal type of streamer. People are not doing the crap that he does every minute of every day. He is, like John said, a public nuisance. He's an outlier. But they take the outlier, they pump up the outlier, they make sure everybody sees the outlier, and then all of a sudden, because of the outlier, there's now more rules on you. So
I mean, Scotland's a prime example. Look at the hate speech laws.
Well, yeah. Well, exactly, and Ireland.
What's all that about? Well, why did they come into position? Because you've already got sufficient common law laws that cover all these things. Breach of the peace covers almost everything. Why do you need more laws? You don't need statutes. You don't need more laws. There's sufficient there. There's sufficient there. And the thing is, and this is back to what we say, the more laws and regulations you have in your society, the less free you are. We are no longer a free society.
If we ever were. Because I think the idea of a free society is an illusion, quite frankly.
Mm-hmm.
I really do.
I think you're right. Yeah.
If you have to ask permission to do something, you're not free.
So how many times do you have to ask permission to do something when you step out the door? Right?
So many.
Yeah.
So many.
I mean, the thing is,
and
you get in your car, you had to ask permission to own the car, to register the car, to put petrol in the car, to drive the car, to road tax the car, to insure the car. I mean, for how many permissions already, and you haven't even driven away.
Exactly. You know, what people don't seem to understand is that we are an extremely, extremely controlled society.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just done by 1,000 cuts. You know, the term death by 1,000 cuts? It's little regulations here. You know, it's even fishing, for God's sake. You need a license to go fishing in some places.
Well, yeah, because that Battle of the River doesn't belong to you. It belongs to the person that owns the land. But anyway, it's like we're not that far away from China. We're not that far.
No, and do you know what? Especially here in the United Kingdom, where the infrastructure is pretty much already in place to control everyone via cameras. We are one of the most watched countries on the planet, probably second only to China, with coverage per square foot of cameras.
Yeah, well, I think we are one of the highest camera per capita in the world, definitely. I think we might even be the highest. It's a ridiculous amount of cameras we have, and that's why, while I cannot condone any detrimental actions to public property, I do observe what's happening to things like the ULEZ cameras, and maybe it would be good to observe it happening to more of different types.
I enjoy a good ULEZ camera video. That's all I'm going to say. I
like to be an observer.
I neither condemn nor condone the actions of the people in those videos. I just enjoy. I think they're an entertaining hoot. That's what I think they are. But we're not a free society. I don't know if we've certainly been far more free than we are now. We are probably the least free now than we have ever been. And the problem is, behind our backs, and it is behind our backs because we don't really hear about it, they sit in that parliament day in, day out, and look for new ways to control you. And they'll pass a little law here or a little tweak there, and you won't even know about it. And they just keep doing it. And you're going to wake up one day. You're going to wake up and you're going to wonder, what the hell happened? How did we allow this to happen? And how have we got here? I wouldn't be so shocked if in 30 years' time everybody's got a bloody leg tracker on at the end of the day. It's
Chip in the hand.
it's concerning.
Yeah.
Well, either way, it's concerning. It's concerning. As Boris Johnson himself said at the COP thing, he kept slipping cash in there, didn't he? His war on and cash. Why would you have a war on cash unless you wanted to
You can't
control the finances?
Yeah, you can't track cash.
It's all very concerning. It is. It's all very concerning.
And the thing is, these people, the people that turn around and say, well, if you have nothing to hide, you have nothing to fear.
Do you know what?
These people are the same people. They're the same people who in 1939 Germany became something that everybody now abhors.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. They're useful idiots at bare minimum.
Mm-hmm.
Useful idiots at bare minimum. It only takes a generation. It only takes a generation to lose everything, to lose all of the freedoms.
Yeah.
And the thing is, we've got a generation coming up now who know only this, who only know this, what we are living in now. They don't know what life was like before. And it seems to me that if the people in charge, I don't know, or at least who have stranglehold of things like our academic institutions, get their way, then the kids will know a completely revised version of history.
Of course they will, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm going to go to the chat, even though I'm not supposed to till the end, unless you put super chat in, of course. And Tony says, we already have trackers, by the way. I don't go out with my phone. And that's true. That is true. Press the button, John.
That's true.
There you go. Yes, absolutely right. And I'm well aware that thing can track me. And do you know what? That's my choice to go with it or not. Because I'm aware of what it is. But it's getting to the point where you're not going to have a choice. And that's concerning. I mean, they want to do all this facial recognition and this AI and all this crap. For what? For what? To keep you safe? I don't know. I don't know. Let's move on anyway, John.
Indeed. Let's move on. I mean, I don't use the self-checkout in supermarkets.
No, I kind of do, but that's just out of convenience.
It's convenient for who?
Well,
so you're valuing your time, right, more than your privacy. That's what you're doing there.
You're probably right.
No, I'm not.
You're probably right.
I am right. And you're valuing the fact that you're not an employee and should be served, as opposed to being an unpaid employee. What the?
John?
My audio go?
I've lost your audio, John.
Am I back?
I can't hear you, John.
I'm going to have to leave and come back.
I can hear myself through the show. Oh, okay. He's going to have to...
Yeah, I'm going to have to leave and come back.
Sorry about this.
Oh, no, hold on. Julie says I'm back.
Okay.
So you can hear me. My audio says I'm muted on Ring Central.
I could only hear you.
Can you hear me now?
I turned on the thing. Yes, I can hear you.
Right, okay. And you people and good people of the troll room, can you hear me?
Let me try. They can hear you.
Excellent.
Right. What the hell happened there?
I don't know. Pardon me?
Well, I lost John's audio completely.
Power thing. Because there's no dropped frames.
No, and I could hear myself through the show the entire time. I turned it on and I had to listen.
Yeah, that was... Anyway. Hey, it wouldn't be Chasing Dissent if there wasn't some kind of technical glitch.
That's true.
That's true.
There you go.
Right. Right. So, what were we talking... Oh, yeah, we were talking about valuing your time over convenience. Or valuing the convenience of using it. Yeah, so I
Okay,
don't
so
use them.
moving
I'll
on.
stand in a queue. I'll stand in a queue and wait. Because you know what?
Fair enough.
It's 5 minutes. It's 5 minutes. And I might only have, I mean, I've seen myself go through the checkout with 5 items. But I stand and I wait in the queue. And someone will come up to me sometimes and go, you could use a self-checkout? And I'll say, I'm sorry, I do not work here.
I like it.
And I said that on Twitter and got slagged for it. I get slagged for it, right? Because these people
Why?
have no fucking conception of what's happening to them and how they're being programmed. It's another example of how stupid people on this planet really are. They are being programmed by supermarkets to do certain things. Carry a loyalty card. Have it scanned so as we can track what you're using and what you're eating and everything, because we want to know everything about you. And then we'll give you discounts. Yeah. We'll give you discounts for things that you're never going to fucking buy.
Correct. I mean, Tesco's, I think, now is the biggest abuser of such a thing, because you can't have any of the in-store deals unless you've got a club card.
Fuck them.
So you have and you have to scan that club card as well.
Don't have a club card.
Neither do I. I use my wife's. She's got one.
I don't.
Right? So,
yeah, but I don't. I just they always go to me. Have you got a club card? Have you got a Morrison's card? And I go, no, I don't. I'll just pay for it.
Well, yeah.
And you'll take cash.
You will take the cash. Yes, you will. In fact, I told my wife tomorrow, because we're taking the kids to the fun fair, right? We're taking the kids to the fun. And I said to her, tomorrow's a cash day, dear. And we're going out for a date in the evening.
Date night.
We have a sitter for the kids. We're going out.
Oh my gosh.
We're going out.
I can imagine a sitter for your kids will be dressed in like hockey pads and things.
And then we're going to come home. They're just going to be rocking in the corner, having painted the walls in their own feces.
Another dirt protest. Right. Okay, let's move on. Where do we want to go next? Where would you like to go? Do you want to go to? Do you want to go to We Buy Any Car?
Yeah. Well.
Or do you want to go to? Do you want to go to the Coke?
Well, listen. So I want to go to Cheryl Cole.
Oh,
now,
I saw this. I think I saw this. This is our boyfriend's comment.
So, well, yeah, because there's a comparison to be made here. There is a comparison to be made.
Cheryl Cole.
Because she met her current partner, Liam Payne, when he was 14. She met him when he was 14. They didn't start dating, obviously, at that point, but she was a judge on the show that he was on. And they met then. So is there a comparison to be made here between Mr. We Buy Any Car and Cheryl Cole?
Yeah, probably, but people won't pick it up because it's different when women do it. You know that.
And is this a symptom of society?
Because it's a misogynist society, and no matter how much, and Andrew Tate's right. He's right in many of the things he says. No matter how much you try and make things equal, men and women are not equal, and they never ever will be, and they will never
nor
be.
Should they ever strive to be?
Yeah, and they shouldn't strive to be, but they do. And the problem is when you strive to be an equal with someone you cannot be equal to and shouldn't be equal to, right? And I mean this from both sides, right? When you try and do that, you create disharmony in yourself. You create disharmony in your society, and that's exactly what we're living through just now. We are living through a disharmonious society. It is the end times. We're breaking down, and pretty soon we're going to have dogs and cats fucking in the streets.
Do you know what? You're right, obviously. You usually
That's
are.
true.
But still, the fact of the matter is, and you should probably lead off with this, with the whole Philip Schofield thing and how he's
Right.
done an interview on the
I
BBC
tell
today,
you what,
hasn't he?
here we go, because Adam's just led us right into it, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's done an interview today on the BBC. I haven't seen it. I did look for a full version.
But Adam on the chat's just put us in there, hasn't he? They should leave Phil alone now. Nobody cares about him. Well, no. Why should we leave him alone? Why should we? Because Phil never left us alone.
Well, no, Phil's never left the public alone, has he?
He's never left the public alone. He's never left us alone. He never left your granny alone. He never left the people that were suffering in lockdown from mental health alone. He never left the people that lost their jobs, their businesses, their homes, their education, their life. He never left them alone during lockdown. He called them granny killers. He said, go and get something. He never gave you a break. He followed every stupid stipulation that the government put there. He followed everyone and asked you to do the same. He didn't leave you alone. Why would you leave him alone now? Because the other thing he's done is he's now trying to play a victim. And I say play a victim deliberately because this man has lied to himself. He's lied to his family. He's lied to his wife, his children, his friends, his colleagues, and the public for tens of years. Tens of years. He kept it all undercover. And then he came out and became the big, I am so virtuous, I'm so good. And now he's been found out that he lied, and that's all. This is all this is about. It's because he lied. It's nothing to do with the age of the kid or whatever, because if it wasn't illegal, it wasn't illegal. But he lied, and he lied to the public, and he betrayed your trust, and that's why he deserves everything he's getting right now. And anything you see from him is crocodile tears, because the man is at least a sociopath and possibly a psychopath.
I mean,
that's my view, and I'm sticking with it.
It's hard to argue, and I mean, I'm not going to go out of my way to go after him. Right? I'm not. If he does or says something that needs, obviously, either rebutting or suitably mocking, I'll be here to do that. But at the same time, I am kind of bored of it. I'm not going to lie. I'm just kind of bored of it. Yeah. But also, I just don't see... It's so tough for me because I believe somebody should be able to make their own mistakes in private and not have to be public. But then again, he lied.
But that's fine. Yeah, there's no problem if you make your mistakes in private, right? No problem at all. And there's no problem with him doing what he did. If he'd made his mistakes in private and he just kept his head down and shut up and got on with it, nobody would have bothered him really, right? But no, he tried to tough it out. He tried to become the virtue signaling, I am the good guy. I've come out after 57 years of being gay or whatever, you know, and really I'm gay, and, you know, my long-suffering wife has just been a convenience, a tool that I adopted so that I could have a career in show business, you know? I mean, so he's done it. I mean, he's a calculating bastard. If you think about it, he's ruined that woman's life. He's ruined his kid's life. I mean,
he's ruined that young boy's life.
He's ruined that boy's life, and he's ruined his own life now, hopefully, right? Because it's come back to bite him in the ass. And you know what? That's what happens. It's called karma. Right. It happens. So you know what? You know what? You've got to do what everyone that was affected by the disproportionate government restrictions, right? You got to do what happened to them. You got to put on the big boy pants, get on with it, and rebuild your life. And stop crying about it. Because nobody's coming to help you. There are no saviours.
Well, actually, whilst I completely agree, and obviously I preach exactly the same. I think in Phil's case, I think he is everything he's doing, everything he did this morning on the BBC, this is a calculated move to, as you say, position himself as the victim.
Of course
he invoked Caroline Flack. Yep. He even said, do you want me to kill myself?
I know. Right? I mean, I saw that and I thought, that was the one that sealed the deal, right? When he said that, because people that are thinking like that, people that are thinking about things like that, never tell anyone. And there are people I know that we know, and they'll confirm that. They never tell anyone until they've done it, right? Because it's not something they're going to boast about. It's not something they're using as a tool. It's something they're seriously considering doing. He's not, because he's mentioned it. That's a plea for sympathy. That's what that is. That's a calculated move. He's an unmitigated abomination of a man, and I have no respect for him. I never did have, but I've even less now.
So here's what I'm thinking, okay? And just go with me on this, because here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking this was the beginning of what I could only term Phil's redemption arc this morning. Now, so far, we haven't heard from the boy, from Matt McGreevy. Nobody has heard from him, because I believe he can't speak until the end of July. So he'll have all of the rags, you know, like the Sun and all of that. They'll be lining up to buy his story. The second he can speak, he probably
why can't
will.
he speak? Is this because of the super injunction? It doesn't exist?
I believe there is something directly on him. Not,
right, okay.
Not a super.
Okay, that's fine. We'll just call it. He's been muzzled.
He's been, I don't think there's a super injunction. I think he's been muzzled.
Okay. Right. So that sounds like the actions of a compassionate and caring man.
So when he is able to speak,
okay, you'll hear from him.
One of two
right.
things.
But you know what?
Things going to happen.
You know what's even more damning?
No, I'm not finished.
Oh, sorry. Right.
I'm not finished. Because if he comes out, you'll have signed an NDA, like Julie says. If he comes out and he says, it was, there was nothing illegal going on here. We did do this bad thing behind somebody's back. I'm extremely sorry. It was broke up in a rocky way and blah, 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 blah. But ultimately exonerates Phil from any legal wrongdoing. He will be back on our screens within a year. I'm telling you now. He will be back, maybe not with ITV. Not with ITV.
I don't think so.
But if the boy comes out and he says, well, Phil's been talking to me since I was very young, and that's the end of it.
Right, actually, but it's nothing to do with whether it was illegal or not. This is the thing. This is a breach of trust. This is a severe breach of trust from what's supposed to be a trustworthy celebrity who's supposed to be giving you the truth, right? And I know, I nearly again kept a straight face, but he's supposed to be a trustworthy celebrity. He has breached your trust. But what gets me is we even get people in the chat. We even have people on our chat who are normally pretty switched on going, leave him alone. Just leave him alone. Why? Because he breached your trust. Why leave him alone? Why not make him suffer?
See, Adam says the interview was cringe. I didn't watch a full interview, and I'll tell you exactly why I didn't watch a full interview. Because at the time when I looked for it this afternoon, there wasn't a full version on YouTube. I don't know if there is now. But secondly, the only place you could see it is iPlayer. And this guy don't have no TV license. So how I won't use iPlayer. I can't use iPlayer. So I can't turn around and see it.
And the other thing is he's even trying to fire Holly in as well, isn't he?
Yeah.
He goes, I sent a text pleading forgiveness to Holly and she's completely ignored me. Oh, boo.
Yeah, because what Holly's going to do now is she's going to distance herself from him as much as humanly possible. Mm-hmm. She's going to, because she keeps saying, I'm going to be back after the half term, which would have been,
that'll be this
coming Monday.
Yeah. She
keeps saying she's coming back to this morning. Will she? I don't know, because obviously there's now an internal investigation into ITV.
I think
to say that she didn't, and this is just my personal opinion, okay, for legal reasons, of course, but I think she knew everything.
Of course,
she knew everything.
Of course she did.
She knew. She must have, because Dan Wootton 3 years ago went to them and said, "This is happening. This is going on."
Operation
And if
Gopher.
Dan, oh dear, if Dan Wootton knows, then Holly knows.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, the British public are so freaking gullible and so nice. It's like, oh, he's not done anything illegal. Leave him alone. Well, Prince Andrew's not done anything illegal in the UK either. Leave him alone.
No, not in the UK.
And that's what I said, in the UK. He's not done anything illegal in the UK. Roman Polanski didn't do anything illegal in France. So the French have left him alone. And they've not extradited him to America. Have they?
No,
have they? He's still wanted in America, but he lives in France.
He makes his movies.
He makes his movies in France.
Yeah. Oh, good. It is what it is.
Well, right.
I
if there's anything to be drawn, right? Anything to be drawn about being really creepy. What about Woody Allen and his stepdaughter?
That is really creepy. But I was actually going to say, because I'm thinking that I wanted to respond to the same comment here. When we're talking about age gaps, what about Al Pacino and his 20-something girlfriend who's just given birth to his baby?
She's 29, he's 82. What's that? A 53-year-old age gap.
Now, I'm not saying it's not creepy, but I'm saying these things do happen, and as long as everything is legal and everybody is consenting, I don't see the problem. I don't see the problem. People can choose to be with who they want to be at the end of the day, as you know, as long as those parameters are in place. But what about all of these people? Now, Philip's a bit more insidious than all of these people because he lied about it, even if it was completely above board.
He tried to hide it. He tried to hide it. He's lied about it, and he's lied about it to all those different groups of people that I named earlier,
and including his own lawyers, by the way.
Including his lawyers, right? So he's lied to all those groups of people, including misleading his lawyers, right? Which effectively could have meant misleading a court, whether it be a civil or criminal court. So the question is, he really has breached the public trust because he's a public figure in a position where the public trust him, and he's breached the public trust. He's not tenable to go back on TV. But
I think, like I said, because all of this has happened in, and I'm going to say it, Pride Month. He is in the category, isn't he? He's in one of the alphabet letters.
Are you now saying that people are treated specially because they're in a different group? So we don't live in a fair society anymore? Is that what you're saying?
Well, what do you mean anymore? Anyway, I'm telling you that this isn't my point of view. These TV companies and pretty much every business that subscribes to ESG has to tick boxes, and they have to provide jobs to so many people from this community, from that community, of this skin color. You literally can get a job or end up with a job even if you are the least qualified, but you sleep with somebody of the same sex because of box ticking. Now, I'm not saying that has happened. I'm not. I'm just saying that because of the way these companies are doing things, that is the way it has to happen within these companies.
And that's not right.
I'm not saying it is. I think, you know what? If I saw an entire staff of white people or an entire staff of black people, and I knew that the entire hiring process had been done solely on meritocracy, I'd say, damn right. You're in the right place, you're doing the right job. It doesn't matter what you look like. It doesn't matter who you sleep with.
The RAF wouldn't agree with you.
Well, I know that. And the BBC.
What is it the RAF said? Stop hiring these useless white pilots. And you know why they're useless? It's nothing to do with their ability to fly a plane. It's because they don't tick the boxes in the diversity sheet.
Well, exactly, and also our
So-
media.
So what happens there is you end up with someone who has an inferior ability to fly a plane, flying that plane and going into combat because he ticks a box or she ticks a box on a sheet, right? So that is not you putting your best foot forward when it comes to a fighting force.
No, if that is indeed the case, because obviously these people could be the most qualified or
No,
the
they
best,
can't.
right?
No, they can't. They can't be the most qualified. Because if they were the most qualified, they'd have been hired. So what's happening is you're not hiring white people to hire people down the line who are less qualified but tick boxes. So you are not hiring the most qualified people.
Okay.
So you are degrading the ability of your armed forces at the recruitment level, right? So you no longer have a standard that is above, where that is where it should be. You have degraded the standard of the people that you're putting forward to fight for your country.
Yeah,
Therefore,
but the point that I'm trying
if you have to go to war, can you rely on them, or are they going to get humped by maybe other countries who don't use that criteria?
Yeah, but the point I'm trying to make is slightly more nuanced than that. Is that it's possible that the person, the black person, for example, that is hired is just the most qualified. That is possible. Not because not because they are black. They just happen to be black.
Right.
That is possible.
I know what you're saying, right? I know what you're saying, and yes, there are exceptions to the process, but what's happening is if you are deliberately not selecting white people, right,
who are more qualified,
then you are putting inferior applicants forward.
Yeah, and do you know what? We're seeing this more and more and more. I mean, the BBC have more than once put out hiring positions for no whites need apply. The mayor of London, I believe, did it. The mayor of London, I believe, has done it.
How can they do that? How can that be legal? Surely that's discrimination.
It's not.
That can't be legal.
They use this term, don't they? And this term is positive discrimination. There's no such thing as positive discrimination. Right. They just dress it up to try and make their racism, and that's what it is, racism, sound good. Okay? It's not good. You should not even be considering anything about anybody, or whether or not they should be able to get a job, or whether or not they are better, I don't know. But you shouldn't be considering anything about somebody just by looking at the color of their skin. That is racism. When you start telling people you can't do this, you can't do that because of the color of your skin, that is bad. And I am aware that people that looked like me and looked like John in the past did that to other people, right? But we didn't. And I like to think that we've progressed as a society to the point where we can just look at our fellow man or woman or other and turn around and say, "You right there, Jeff?
No,
how you doing?"
But we haven't. Our society stalled, right? Because our society is mired in identifying people as in certain groups. The problem is nobody looks at anyone as an equal anymore. Everybody gets categorized and put in a box. And the thing is, when you cannot speak your mind, your society can never be equalized. It's never going to be equalized because you can't say what you think. There are certain things that you cannot legally talk about, right? And that,
unfortunately,
that just means that you don't have a free society, and there are things that have become politically incorrect to talk about, again, that means you do not have a free society. And I'm not talking about I'm talking about things that have actual factual scientific evidence to back them up. But if you say it, I mean, if we said it, it would be banned off this channel straight away. You know? So these things are they're scientifically accurate, yet you can't mention them.
I don't wish to go any deeper than that.
No, well, we can't, because seriously, the channel would get banned. You're not living in freedom of speech, and you're not living in a free society anymore. You're living within rules that have been imposed on you by corporations.
Corporations?
Mainly that we're living in Rollerball. Do you remember Rollerball?
Do you know what?
You should go back and watch. You should watch
Rollerball. Of course, I've seen
Rollerball. Watch the Rollerball with James Caan in it, right?
Right.
Which is, I think, the original. So James Caan, it's going to be in the 70s or something like that.
Yeah.
So watch that Rollerball again and tell me that we're not living in those times. Watch the original Blade Runner and tell me that we're not living in those times. Watch the original Alien and Aliens and tell me we're not living in those times. Because those science fiction movies, it's corporations that rule the world. And that's what's happening.
Corporations. It's corporations that very much influence government policy these days. I'd say that.
Right. Forget corporations influencing government policy. If we ever colonize Mars, who do you think you'll be working for if you're living in it?
Elon.
SpaceX. Yeah. Everywhere you're going to go, it's going to be SpaceX. And it's going to be a SpaceX facility. And if you get fired from SpaceX, what they're going to do, they're going to ship you off-world back to Earth. You know? Where you won't be able to walk around anymore because you'll be used to Martian gravity. And your muscles will have atrophied to the point where you'll just be a jelly sitting on the pavement begging for coppers. But literally, you can see it happening right in front of your eyes. But most people can't. Most people are still sitting going, I'll have a cup of tea and a scones, you know. Wake up, people. This is what's happening. The corporations are taking over. Your governments are just servants of the corporations. So, this whole system needs to change.
But the thing is,
the one thing, and I'm sorry to be going on, Ben. I'm sorry to be banging on, but the one country that should have been the guiding light, right? The one country that put a constitution in place, it became a constitutional federation, a constitutional union of states, right? The one country that put in safeguards, that split its judiciary, its government into 2 or 3 different levels, and its presidency into a different level. The one country that put all these safeguards in so someone couldn't ride roughshod over your rights has fallen. That one country was the United States of America. And it's fallen. It's fallen.
Well, I think the biggest example of that is the fact that nobody could enter it until, just a couple of weeks ago, without having had medical intervention.
Yeah.
I mean, what?
Yeah.
I would say that is, and I mean, that was family members as well of like the people who could be living there, and family members who say are British citizens. You could not. Yeah. My friend Ollie, for example, is now in a bungalow in a care facility with 24-hour round-the-clock care because all he wanted to do was go see his sister. Remember our ex-colleague who did Dismal Disney with us?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's shocking.
He wanted to go and see his sister.
I know. That's shocking.
So he had a medical intervention, and now he is in a care facility.
And he's not an old man.
No, he's in his early 40s, and he may not ever independently live again. And despite the fact that he took this medical intervention, he still was not able to go and see his sister
Yeah.
because he didn't take enough of them because he didn't want more medical intervention to finish him off.
Yeah.
But and this all happened to him, and he is in that facility because of the government of the United States mandating that.
Yeah, and the government of the United States shouldn't be the federal autocracy that it is now. Because
it
it's
shouldn't.
a federal republic. It's not meant to be like this. The United States is not a democracy, and it never should have been a democracy. And yet they continually use the language. They use the language to try and train the people into thinking that America is a democracy. It's not. It's never been a democracy. And there should never be a Democratic Party in America because it's not a democracy. It's a federal republic. It's a federal republic of states. And that's not it's a constitutional federal republic of states. It's not a democracy. And it never should have been. And that's what's happening right now. And that's why America is falling. That's why it's falling into the pit that it's becoming. And that's why America is a falling star. It's no longer going to be the superpower. It's no longer going to be the economic superpower. And it probably won't be the military superpower because Russia and China are teaming up.
Yeah, and in response, Andrew, that is on the cards. I'm just trying to. I've been talking to him for the past few months, and he's been in a real situation with medical facilities and care homes and things like that. And it's just when A, he's strong enough to do it, and B, he's stable in a position where he knows where he's living. But yes, that is on the cards as a Rumble exclusive. Speaking of interviews, so we do have a few coming up. So next Thursday at 9 p.m, I will be joined for my next one-on-one by Bert. And Bert runs the YouTube channel We Got a Problem. I imagine some of you know who that is. He's got well over 100,000 subscribers. So he will be here with me live next Thursday night at 9 p.m. We have Brent Lee returning with his podcast partner and John. Not next week, obviously. Is that the following week? I think it's the following week, isn't it, John?
15th.
Okay, or the 15th. And I am also trying to nail down David Nolan of Stop, Come and Pass to give us a little bit of an update on where he's at with what he is doing.
I reached out to someone today. Who was it?
Tony says, yes, we got a problem. I'm looking forward to putting a face to the voice. He will be with me live on Thursday night at 9 p.m.
The other, I've got another show with Latimer on the 13th. So I'll be recording that on the 13th. So that'll go out that week as well. That'll go out on audio.
Fantastic.
Because I don't think Latimer's suitable. He might be. He's not far away, but climate change is a funny one, isn't it?
Yeah, it is a funny one, and it's a funny one for whether or not, because once again, I hate to use the term fluid, but it's such a fluid situation when it comes to what they do and don't allow you to discuss on this platform, because one day one thing is not all right, and then it is all right. It's like masks. It's frustrating.
I mean, you can talk about masks now, but you couldn't like 6 months ago.
No, exactly.
Which is crazy, because if you should never have been able to talk about it, you should never be able to talk about it.
Well, put it this way.
Although you should never not be able to talk about things. They're coming at it from the wrong end.
Put it this way, right? All of the people that they censored for saying things that are now perfectly acceptable to say. Do you know what they're turning around to them and saying? Because I got an apology.
You should have spoke up at the time.
No. I'm talking about YouTube themselves. Because I used to own a channel.
Yeah, what they saying now?
Right? They said, yeah, you're absolutely right.
But you're not
You
getting
were
your channel
factual.
back.
but we're going to keep it banned for spam. What the hell? I never spammed anyone.
Well,
But
maybe they were spamming you.
maybe they turn around. They go, "Yep, we can't justify the banning on the grounds anymore that we did because you were absolutely right." But
Right, let's cover somewhere we haven't been for a wee while, which is Ukraine. Okay, so Zelensky met Sunak. Yeah. What was he
Richie.
on? Was he drinking loads of that stuff that you like? Right. I mean, you know my background, right? I have seen many people who have abused substances.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say that was pretty characteristic behaviour. Really
Do you know
characteristic behaviour.
I find it very hard to disagree. I mean, but to be fair, if you are basically know you're a dead man walking, wouldn't you constantly be off your face?
Well, no, because right. If it was me, okay, and I was in that situation, I'd be like, I'm out now. Well, I've still got my faculties about me, and I can get out, and I've still got some money behind me. So I'm out now. Let someone else take the crap, I'd be out. I'd be gone. I wouldn't still be hanging on unless they've got something on them, unless they're controlling them. Because I wouldn't put it past America, because you know what they're like. They do like to control, don't they? So anyway,
absolutely.
So that was his meeting with Sunak, which is fine, and then that these things happen. Okay, as they will. But what I don't understand is the aid that's been sent to Ukraine. And we did touch on this earlier in many of our other programs, especially the one about the plane that crashed in Syria. Remember the cargo plane that crashed in Syria, right? So it appears that American Javelin missiles, valued 20 to 50 million on the black market. Not that I would know anything about their value on the black market, because that was a completely different persona altogether. Remember?
Yeah. Arms dealer, John.
Yeah, we won't speak about that, right? Okay.
Yep.
But anyway, so
are you sure you're not in Saudi Arabia right now, John?
No, I'm not. You can see where I am. You can see quite patently that I am on this part of the map, round about here. Anyway, so
I still can't believe they did that. Like, for real. The people that were trolling me tried to paint him out. They said there was a Saudi arms dealer with John's name, so they were like, it's him. And it doesn't even look like him.
Yeah, I know.
But that really...
That was good, though. But anyway, right, so these American Javelin missiles that were, and verified, serial marked as delivered to Ukraine. Well, at least one has turned up in a Mexican cartel. I mean, it gets better. Swedish arms have been sent to Ukraine. Have turned up in a Mexican cartel less than 10 kilometers from the US border. So,
you know what? At this point,
what is going on?
I wish I had a sombrero and maracas right now, so I could sit here going, under. We got ourselves a Javelin missile, Holmes.
You've got to ask yourself, when you send so much money and ammunition and arms to the most corrupt country in Europe, what did you possibly think was going to happen? I mean, really, what did you think was going to happen? So, yeah.
And still, Russia's not the good guy.
No, Russia's not. Now, there's another guy in the EU who doesn't appear to be a good guy, but is the only EU president that's currently calling for peace.
Who?
Viktor Orban. He's the only one. So what's going on? Why does the EU want to fight Russia when they can't win? I mean, they know they can't win. They don't have any ammunition. I mean, Germany's down to less than 5 days. The UK's down to less than 5 days. Why?
Well,
why do they want to fight Russia? And Viktor Orban saying, maybe we should how about peace? And then they're talking about having a peace conference, but they're not going to turn up, or they're not going to invite Russia.
So what you're trying to tell me is that peace is going to be decided for them.
How are they going to work out a peace treaty if they don't invite Russia?
Well, this sounds more like an imposition treaty.
It's not an imposition, because let's face it, they can't impose anything. I mean, oh my God, it's like a Carry On movie. It really is for the modern times.
It's ridiculous. Now, I am a big proponent of peace, by the way.
Yeah,
big proponent of peace.
I
every single day that conflicts like this go on, people unnecessarily lose their lives, and it is entirely unnecessary for the wants and the wills of people who simply want to swing their dicks about. And I say that in no uncertain terms, because it's the people at the top that are doing this, and then they send, the everyman, they send you to go and die for them.
Yeah.
And it needs to stop. It really does. This idea needs to stop. Perhaps I'm speaking to deaf ears, and I know that I could scream this into the void, that people should not go and fight and die someone else's war. If two quote unquote leaders have an issue with one another, want to fight each other, let them get in a boxing ring and duke it out.
Strapped to the waist and get on with it.
Exactly. Let's not keep sending, people, the 9-to-5 worker, to go and die unnecessarily for these bloody conflicts. It really does my head in. And yeah, if I was ever drafted, I'd be done as a deserter, because I wouldn't do it.
Conscientious objector.
Yeah, I just wouldn't do it.
Conscientious objector, and that you're not prepared to bear arms. So they'd give you something else to do, like drive a truck or something like that.
Well, I wouldn't even do that. I'd say I'm not being involved in this. I'm not being involved. Okay. I'm off.
Okay. Right, so moving on. Let's move on. Bit of a sad one here, right? Okay. Bit of a sad
and a confusing one, if I think I know where you're going.
A bit of a sad one, and I can't quite understand what happened here, right? And I can't understand why the guy would do it, but it's kind of mental. Right, so 18-year-old on a cruise.
Okay.
On a cruise ship.
Didn't know we were going here.
Right?
Yep.
Apparently, very shark-infested waters, right? Jumps off the boat on a dare.
Oh, bloody hell.
Right? So he jumps off the boat, and you see him in the water, hey, and they're throwing a thing, one of those rubber things to him, and he's saying, somebody's in the water and all that. Oh my God, dude, you did it. You, oh my God, right? So this 18-year-old guy jumps off the ship, Cameron Robbins, I think was his name. So he jumps off the ship,
right?
And they haven't found him. It was at night when he did it. But I mean, you can see him in the water. People were filming it, right? Why would you jump off a cruise ship in the middle of nowhere?
In the middle of the night?
In the middle of the night, on a dare. Why would you do that? I mean,
I wonder how much alcohol was involved here.
Well, there's a possibility, but ships take a lot of time to turn around. And by the time they turn around, trying to find someone in the ocean is really, really difficult, because they've only got a little head sticking up above what could be a bigger wave. So it's not even sticking up. So the chances of finding someone in the water without an aircraft are really slim. So they reckon the sharks got them. So.
Well, yeah. Remember, a lot, not all, but a lot of these cruise ships are all inclusive.
Yeah,
so
booze cruise. Yeah, of course they are.
So I would imagine
but
a lot of alcohol was involved.
It's not the kind of thing that happens often.
No, it's not. It's not the kind of thing that happens
In
often.
fact, I've never heard anyone jumping off a ship on a dare in the middle of the ocean at night.
No. I mean, I've jumped off Eastbourne Pier in my youth.
Yeah, okay.
On a dare.
Okay. But you kind of knew that you weren't that far from the beach, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, there's always a chance of a riptide taking you out, but yeah, but.
Oh yeah. But honestly, I don't know. I can see the term Darwin Award from Mr. Jungle Griffin in the chat here.
Well, yeah, I think.
And right. I think that's quite apt. And like you said, John, I mean, it's sad. It is sad that this has happened.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, this is somebody who made a conscious decision to do something with a more likely than not chance to get him killed. And I would say, because first of all, the sheer drop off the deck of a cruise ship into the sea is high.
Well, it depends on the ship, certainly. But drop. Yeah, there is a big drop. Right,
you know, anyway, it can be over 100.
Let's move on to something a bit funnier. Okay.
Oh, funnier.
Yeah, well, let's bring it back up. Okay, so AI. Now, you know how I say AI doesn't exist?
It doesn't.
Right, so here we go. So the US military are doing a drone experiment with AI,
right.
Allegedly, right? Okay. And this guy's been pulled up for this, and he's had to issue this colonel or something. He's had to issue a retraction saying he misspoke when he put the original thing out. But basically, what happened was they were trying to teach a drone to use AI to kill targets.
Okay.
Okay. So the drone would find a target, and then they would say kill the target, and the drone would get points.
Yep.
And then the drone would find another target and they say, don't kill the target. And the drone wouldn't get points, right? So they kept doing this experiment. And then the drone would then turn around and kill the operator. Right? Because the operator was stopping it killing targets, which was stopping it getting points. Right? Okay, that's point one. Okay, so then they said, no, you can't do that, drone, right? You can't kill the operator, because if you kill the operator, that's bad. So you'll lose points, right?
Yep.
So then the drone thought, okay. So then the drone went up, killed a target, points, went to another target, don't kill that target, no points. Drone goes, okay, I'm not getting points, turns around, shoots down the communications tower. So it can no longer be told not to kill targets. You know where this is going. This is freaking Terminator, isn't it?
It's Skynet.
That's Skynet. Yeah, that's a Skynet. So there you go. So the headline was AI drone turns on operator. Right, okay. And the guy got castigated for this. And he said, well, it wasn't a practical exercise. It was a thought experiment. No, it wasn't. That wasn't a thought experiment. This was a computer experiment. They did this in a simulation, right?
Yeah.
So this technology exists and they're playing with it. And that's going to come back and bite us on the ass, because what's going to happen is you're going to get drones up there that suddenly go, hold on a minute. Oh, sorry, I didn't hear you. I'm just going to kill this target. Kill this target. Kill this target. Aren't you?
Do you know what?
Yeah.
I'm gonna say this, and I mean this. We need to stop with this AI bollocks. Mm-hmm. It needs to stop, because at some point they are actually going to create it. Yeah. They are actually going to create Skynet, and we are going to have to, live in underground hovels hoping the machines don't get us.
Yeah. With dogs to sniff out the Terminators.
Well, exactly. So what we need to do right now is take a step back and go, you know what?
Stop.
Bob can have the job.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because this is what it's all about.
Well, the thing is,
This
we've
is
got
all
plenty of people. Why not use them?
Well, this is what it's all about. It's about trying to eliminate human labour.
But
That's
why?
what it's all about.
Well, what's the advantage in eliminating human labour?
I
We've got
don't
loads and
know.
loads of people. Why not use them?
I don't know what the advantage of eliminating human labour is, especially in a world with a growing population. And despite the worstest health crisis ever, the population still grew. Right?
I know.
We've got a growing population.
Do you want to give a soliloquy while I nip to the little room?
Jesus Christ.
No,
all right.
It's just John.
Look, we have a growing population, and this population needs to be sustained. And by that I mean, you know, people need to be fed, people need to be clothed, people need to be housed, people need to be able to have the money to go and do things and enjoy themselves and have a good time. And without human labour, that's going to become increasingly difficult. And what I mean by that is that people are no longer going to be able to be employed. And then you're going to end up in a system where you're on universal basic income or something along those lines, and then you're all going to end up equally poor. It's not a good thing. Shouldn't be something somebody wants, but also we need to just step back and go backwards a bit, because we're also forgetting a sense of community. And you know, I'm an autistic man who really doesn't like being in crowds. I'm not going to lie, and some of you here have met me, and I've put on the face and I've sucked it up and put on my big boy pants and been in the crowds with a fair few of you. But I don't like it. I don't like that. But you know, community is a good thing. We're losing so much here. We're losing the ability to know each other's names. I mean, do you know your neighbours' names? I don't know my neighbours' names. Nobody talks to one another. Nobody interacts with one another. Nobody helps one another out anymore. And I think technology is a lot to blame for a lot of this, because everything is just becoming so easy, so convenient, and we're all guilty of it. I'm guilty of it too. But the more we go down this route, the more ruinous it will become. We'll have no purpose. No purpose whatsoever in this life. Because the idea that you can relax all day and do nothing and sit about and all day, every day, and not have to work. It sounds great in theory, but what it will end up doing is creating a generation of people with no purpose. They will be completely depressed the entire time because they're not engaging themselves. They're not challenging themselves. They've got no reason to. And so nobody will be happy. That's just my opinion anyway. And ultimately, we'll probably end up destroying ourselves. Hi, John.
Why?
I was just being very upbeat there, as you can probably hear.
Oh,
but
that's cool. Yeah, it sounded like it. Have you heard about James Hansen?
Who?
James Hansen.
Well, if I'm saying who, then it's
Yeah.
probably
So
no.
James Hansen's a guy that works for NASA.
Right.
He's a climatologist, I think.
Right.
He's a kind of American version.
One of those.
Yeah, he's a kind of American version of Neil Ferguson.
Oh.
In that
one of those.
everything that he has predicted has never come true.
Isn't that pretty much everybody within that field of science?
Yeah. So he's now saying that we're likely to reach a tipping point and the Earth's going to become uninhabitable in
Of
about
course.
50 years. I mean, it really is. It's all bollocks. It really is.
Yeah, I mean, like I say, pretty much everybody in that field makes a prediction and it doesn't come true.
Yeah, I mean, Hansen has never made a prediction that's come true. I mean, Hansen's just He's like a fear. He is. He's just he's the climatologist version of Neil Ferguson, and he's just as bad, if not worse, actually.
Ish, ish. That's not good. Right. I think there is something I want to touch on, but I think we need to be careful. Obviously, we need to be careful. But this is being reported in mainstream news. It's been reported in OK Magazine. It's been reported on MSN. It's being reported down the line. Actor Jamie Foxx.
Oh, right. You want to go there? Okay.
I kind of want to go there. So, an independent journalist is saying that an unnamed source has told him that actor Jamie Foxx is paralyzed and blind due to a certain medical intervention. He also said...
he didn't quite say that. What he said was that he had a stroke or a bleed on the brain after a medical intervention.
Yeah.
That's not because of. So let's be careful what we're saying here. Let's not draw conclusions that aren't there.
Oh, no, they're actively saying it.
Are they? Are they saying that? Well, yeah, but they might be saying that, but that's not what was reported. What was reported was that he had a stroke after he had a medical treatment. Right, that's not there's nothing to imply that the cause of the stroke was anything to do with the medical treatment.
No, you're right, but they're also then going on to emphasize the point that he did not want this medical intervention and was forced to have it in order to continue working on a film set.
Well, yes, yes, okay. So, nobody was forced to do anything. They may have been coerced and they may have caved to it, right? But nobody was actually forced to do anything.
Do you know what? I agree with you. It's the same with all of the interventions, not just medical ones, but non-medical ones. People had a choice. They always had a choice. I mean, whilst people were sitting here in tier 4, I was going abroad. I was just getting in my car and going abroad. People always had a choice.
There were choices, and yes, and we tried to keep the gym open, and the choice was to keep the gym open or to get arrested.
Yeah.
And that was a direct choice that we were given.
So, anyhow, going back to this Jamie Foxx story, I'm only comfortable reporting that this is being reported because I'm not in the room and I don't know what the truth is. And in fact, his daughters are coming out, I believe, and saying that it's not so true. And saying that he's playing ball and stuff like that, and he's recovering well.
I don't know what pickleball is.
Yeah, but so you don't know what to believe, and you don't know who to believe, and this brings me nicely on to the point that we make pretty much all of the time.
Well,
is that you shouldn't just blindly believe something because you see it in the news.
Well,
even.
That's a good point, Ben, and actually this brings me back to something that Ed says last night, and it's the fact that nature abhors a vacuum, and the internet in particular abhors a vacuum even more. So if you have a lack of information, people will fill it, and they may not fill it with the relevant or correct information, but they'll fill the space with some kind of information.
Well, exactly right, and ultimately speaking, when it comes to this, I can see what I'm going to coin the usual suspects tweeting it as if it's some bombshell and it's totally true. Even John Bowe is saying, I know some people in Hollywood and this is true. Right?
Oh, God.
But how do you know?
Of course you do.
How do you know?
Emmerdale actor knows people in Hollywood.
But...
yeah, okay.
I like to call him former bit... I like to call him former bit part actor. That's what I like to call him. But
I know people in Hollywood. No, really, I do.
I don't doubt it. I don't doubt it. But the point I'm trying to make here is...
I've been in a movie. John Bowe's never been in a movie.
He has been in a movie. But you know, it might be true. It might all be true. And
Yeah, it
I'm
might
not
be,
saying
yeah.
it's not. What I'm saying is, I don't know. And that is what you need. That, in my opinion, that is the attitude everybody should take when it comes to the mainstream news and the alternative news. Hello, that's us.
Yeah.
But that is the opinion. Until you know, you don't know.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
And
you're right. You can take in what's being said, and you can form your own opinion. But until you know, you don't know. Yeah. Having said that, Minuteman says the Fox story is looking to be true. Really hope it isn't. Well, the thing that leans slightly towards the fact that may be true is that we're not getting any denials, are we, Ben?
well, like I said, his daughters are kind of denying it.
Well,
They're saying
that's
he's.
new. Is
But
it?
but
When you say kind of
but-
denying it, what are they saying?
well, they haven't come
Is this-
out and
don't-
directly contradicted the story.
Yeah, right. Okay, so I think when you look at this, you have to be very conscious of the language that's been used to describe what he's doing, right?
Yeah.
So the language says he's communicating with them.
Mm.
He's not necessarily talking to them. He's communicating with them. Now, communication is a very wide spectrum term compared to talking.
Could be hitting the old Morse code dial.
Well, talking means I'm talking to you. If I'm talking to you, you can hear me. Yes, I am talking to you. Yeah. But if I go, I'm communicating, but I'm not talking. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it could be, you have to be very conscious of the language used, because they'll never want to say an outright lie, because then because it'll come out eventually, right? So they don't want to say something that can be proven to be a lie, but they'll say, yeah, he was communicating, and communicating again could be something like, couldn't it?
I mean, it could.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I am not comfortable, and people can say I'm wrong, but I am not comfortable saying what has been reported is a fact, and because I'm not there.
You probably need a second source to confirm it.
Well, at least a named source.
If we would apply, say for instance the requirements for a conviction in court, we would look for. We would either look for an eyewitness plus corroborating evidence, wouldn't we? So if we've got the eyewitness, allegedly, right? So allegedly we've got the eyewitness, but we need some corroborating evidence, whether it be video or another witness or something else. But we need some corroboration of the fact, and before we can determine whether it's true or not. And speaking of that, and speaking of applying evidence in court, you see this Dr. Charlotte Proudman thing? Is she real or is she a parody? What is all that?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Have you seen this Charlotte Proudman woman who... Is it Charlotte Proudman? She appears to be some kind of... or she purports to be some kind of legal person. Right, Dr. Charlotte Proudman, right? Advocate of the Year, Women in Law Awards 2023, barrister, director of Right to Equality, tweets in personal capacity. And I mean, she's got a website and everything, right? 76,000 followers, okay? Dr. Charlotte Proudman. She's apparently written a book, Female Genital Mutilation, something like that. Okay, and her last tweet on May the 14th was, been a busy start to the year. I won Advocate of the Year, WDL Awards for precedent-setting cases ending male violence against women and children. I've also become a senior research associate at the Intellectual Forum, Jesus College, Cambridge. A few of my cases and more. So it doesn't...
She does seem to be real.
It doesn't look like a parody, okay?
I'm looking at her now. So what are we talking about here?
So what I'm talking about is what she said about Andrew Tate.
Yeah, she's going on about him. I'm looking for her account. She's just, that's all she's talking about at the moment.
Well, the one that gets me is, hold on. Now, I'm going to, hold on, let me go to my bookmarks because I want to get this right. Because I think...
Right, okay.
For someone who's meant to be someone in the legal profession, she's made a bit of a gaffe here, okay?
Do tell.
Well, she has tweeted, "Why the hell is the BBC giving Andrew Tate a platform when he's on trial for sex trafficking and exploiting women?" No, he's not.
First of all, he's not on trial. He's not even been charged with anything.
He's never been charged.
And second of all, the R has been completely dropped.
Yeah, right. So
It has been completely dropped.
So that she made that tweet yesterday, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, and I mean, it goes on about, I can't imagine how survivors feel watching this. It's a slap in the face. That's not the point. The point is she's making allegations against a man, right, who hasn't even been charged. Is she not leaving herself wide open to defamation?
I would say yes, she is. First of all, and second of all, whilst we're back on that, there was a point that Andrew made that I kind of want to bolster as well. One of the questions that should have been asked of the BBC or by the BBC is, you spent 92 days in a prison cell without charge. What was that like? Because you know. No, of course not. I am trying my best to continue to think Andrew Tate is an arsehole. But at the same time, he's right. In that interview, the way he snaps back at her is absolutely right. And Charlotte Proudman here also tweeted.
I would hold on. I would take exception to your use of the word snaps, because I think he was pretty measured in his delivery. He was
okay.
He did respond. He did respond, I think, appropriately given her tone, but I don't think he snapped back at her. I think he gave it. He gave as good as he was getting. I think it was appropriate. I don't think. I don't think he was particularly aggressive, considering what I've seen him like. You know.
Okay, but the point of the matter is, and the point that I'm trying to make is that. Yeah, Charlotte Proudman, she's also tweeting that, people are complaining and viewers are complaining that he calls alleged victim Sophie imaginary. Well, how do we know she isn't?
Right, so if you come up with a story about someone and say Sophie said so, right? Again, we're back to the last item we just spoke about. We would look for some corroboration, wouldn't we?
So Sophie is not even this alleged person's real name, and there's no criminal activity alleged. There's no criminal charges even being sought from this person. So how do we know this person is real? And like he says, because the BBC don't invent things. Of course they do and have.
I think we need to get Mariana into this. BBC,
you know what?
Verify!
Mariana, the invitation is always there. We would love to have that conversation. We really would. But as one of the few people who has actually caught her on film actively and provably lying, I don't think she'll talk to us, John. I don't think she's willing to have that conversation. Now, if I'm wrong, and Mariana wishes to turn up, I'm all for it. I'm all for that conversation.
If you're out there and you're a Mariana bot, let her know that we're more than happy to talk to her.
Or if you are Mariana watching on my Twitter account right now, which we forgot to stop running, through one of your many admitted sock accounts, just hit us up, Mariana. Hit us up. I actually sat outside the BBC once. I was on the live stream during one of the protests. I was going, "Bring me Mariana Spring!"
Have her washed and sent to my tent. The current one's torn. I need a fresh one.
On that note,
yeah,
I think it might be
time to wind it up.
From next week, you will be able to become citizens. And that is all I will say for now.
Yes.
Also,
Yes.
Also,
If you're wondering, it is a cult.
however,
It's a good cult.
we are also looking at the introduction of a weather report.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're in talks.
Yeah, with a well-known celebrity.
Yeah, we're in talks with somebody about a weather report. So just leave that with us, because
And
I'm
and just as a taster, I am going to be filming the building of my new studio.
He is, yeah.
But it's only going to be available to subscribers.
And also, one more thing: if you are not if you are not subscribed to The Real Review, which is the final name of the second channel,
Name. All right. So you've decided that's the final name. Okay.
I can't keep changing it, John. I can't keep changing it.
Okay.
Right, if you're not subscribed over there, then please do go and subscribe over there. I put up a video of a little VE Victory in Europe Day parade with a load of old World War II vehicles, American World War II vehicles that were in France when I was in France a few weeks back. Go check that out.
Actually, this is something I'd like to speak briefly about, if I may.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, so VE Victory in Europe, right?
Yeah.
And this is, to my mind, the difference between the US and the UK, right?
Okay.
And the continent, right?
Okay.
Because we won the Second World War, allegedly, right?
Yeah.
But
Well.
America never had foreign boots on the soil. UK never had foreign boots on our soil.
Nope.
Okay, we never fought in our own country.
No.
France, Belgium, Netherlands,
They did.
Norway,
Big time.
You know, they all
Occupied.
They were all occupied, right? Now, these people take victory in Europe really, really seriously.
They do.
They take it
They
really
do.
seriously. Every village, every town in France has a display. And when I say a
It was
display,
lovely.
yeah, when I say a display, it would put anything in a large UK town to shame, right? Because these people take it seriously, and they all respect what happened in World War II, and the personal sacrifice that people put there to get them where they are just now, and you know, especially in places like Normandy and Brittany and things like that. They love the British. They love the Canadians.
Yeah.
They love the Americans. They have telephone boxes on the shorefront in Normandy. You know, they've got every beach. All the beaches are still marked. You know, Juno, Sword, and all that, and they have tanks and everything along the beaches.
Do you know what I missed in the footage?
Well, sorry, but
I missed.
they have tanks and all that, and they have plaques up with all the information about them. And you see French people telling their kids about what happened and how it occurred.
Yeah.
Now, you don't get that in the UK anymore. You don't get that degree of respect and understanding and thankfulness, because we never had an occupation. We were never occupied. America was never occupied. And America, for all its junkyard dog positioning, has never fought a quality opponent. And it's never fought on its own soil, right?
No, it hasn't.
And that's something that they've still to experience. And when it happens, I think they're going to get a bloody nose. I think that's the problem. They have never fought a quality opponent.
And you know what? Just to bolster the point you were making there, I didn't capture this on camera, but when I arrived because I didn't even know this thing was going on. I knew it was VE Day, but I didn't know they were having this ceremony. I was in a small town called Ceres. It's tiny. there were loads of these American vehicles. You can see them on
Yeah,
the footage.
yeah.
But the mayor of Ceres was giving a speech
Yeah.
in remembrance.
Uh-huh.
There were bagpipers.
Yeah.
There were soldiers in
Yeah.
formation.
Yeah.
And it was really, 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 really sacred to them.
Yeah.
You could see
Yeah.
it was.
Yes.
And it was lovely. And the video's not very long, so head over there. The real review. It's only a few minutes long. Just taking a look at the vehicles really and seeing some of the bagpiping. And enjoy it and see how they do things over there. It was very eye-opening. It was very intriguing, and I really did. I thought it was the sense of pride, the sense of victory. It was just something you just don't see here, and I said that in the video. It's different. But it was really, really good. And do you know what, citizens? With that, John.
With that, I'd like to thank you for attending this All In episode 34, the non-Illuminati Illuminati edition. But thank you, and remember, your time is coming, citizen. Your time is coming.
We
It's
need
been
you.
great for you.
For you.
Welcome to my party, we're just getting started. A life is a dream or a nightmare scarring. Hand me a drink cause I think I'm going all in. Get me a shrink who can catch me when I'm falling. Cover up my scars, flip the handlebars. Crashing in my car, wake up in a bar. I'll be a superstar, just on my avatar. This world is so bizarre, empty out the reservoir. Yeah, I'm taking 6 shots, yeah, straight to the face. And I wanna get lost, I'm sick of this place. Don't know how to stop when I'm feeling this way. So I'm taking 6 shots till I'm feeling okay. I think I'm going crazy, don't think I'll get home safe. So I'm taking 6 shots all straight to the face. I'm taking 6 shots, are you coming with me? I'm taking 6 shots, yeah, straight to the face. And I wanna get lost, I'm sick of this place. Don't know how to stop when I'm feeling this way. So I'm taking 6 shots till I'm feeling okay. I think I'm going crazy, don't think I'll get home safe. So I'm taking 6 shots all straight to the face. I'm taking 6 shots, are you coming with me? Sometimes you need to let loose, grab juice, get goose, tattoos, taboos, get screwed. Loosen up, buttercup, all those hate comments will never make you feel enough. We're all adequate graduates, heart full of calluses, but we know calculus. Damn, ain't that fabulous? Can't wait to apply all those mathematicus. But we can't get a job that pays us enough. I'm about to pop off. Fuck you, you're lost. We all know that we never really want a boss. So I'ma do what I want to. Something I can't undo. Yeah, I'ma do what I want to. Something I can't undo. I'm taking 6 shots, yeah, straight to the face. And I wanna get lost, I'm sick of this place. Don't know how to stop when I'm feeling this way. So I'm taking 6 shots till I'm feeling okay. I think I'm going crazy, don't think I'll get home safe. So I'm taking 6 shots all straight to the face. I'm taking 6 shots, are you coming with me? I'm taking 6 shots, yeah, straight to the face. And I wanna